It's Thursday, June 25. Let's get into one of Korea's top economic stories today.
Yeah, so we are looking at a country that is, basically in the middle of a massive economic mobilization. Today we are unpacking South Korea's breakneck semiconductor expansion, their extreme stock market concentration, and these deeply political property tax debates.
Right, we really want to give you a clear picture of where this whole market is heading.
10 years have been slashed from SK Hynix's Yongin fabrication plant completion. They are moving it aggressively from 2044 to 2034.
Oh, wow, that is a huge jump. And Samsung's schedule is seeing a similarly massive compression, pulled forward from 2048 down to like 2034 or 2035.
46 trillion KRW, or 32 billion USD, is the target raise for SK Hynix's upcoming US ADR listing, just to actually pay for this buildup.
Right, and for those unfamiliar, an ADR, American Depository Receipt, it basically allows foreign companies to trade on U.S. stock markets.
Yeah, it is a strategic move to tap into that massive pool of American investor capital, because building these tech megaclusters is just, astronomically expensive.
I mean, imagine taking out a 30-year mortgage and deciding you were going to pay it off, build a house, and run all the heavy plumbing in just a single decade.
That is exactly what they are doing.
But the sheer speed of this makes me wonder about the physical reality here. Can the actual land, water, and power grids in this newly targeted Honam region cluster actually handle an overnight acceleration of this magnitude?
Well, that physical constraint is exactly why they are targeting the Honam region in the southwest. The capital area around Seoul is completely saturated.
Oh, so they're just out of room up there.
Right. There is literally no physical space or electrical grid capacity left to support these power-hungry AI chip factories. Honam actually has the untapped land and the potential for the renewable energy infrastructure they need to physically pull this off.
It makes sense that if you are building the future of AI, you have to go where the power is.
56.9% of the entire KOSPI market cap, which is South Korea's main stock market index, is now held by just two names.
Samsung and SK Hynix, right.
Exactly.
3,829 trillion KRW, or 2.7 trillion USD, is the combined value of just those two giants right now. If you are an investor, you are essentially watching the entire national market become a concentrated proxy for the global AI race.
6.93 trillion KRW, which is 4.9 billion USD, flooded into single-stock leverage ETFs for these two companies in under a month.
Under a month, that is intense. And these exchange-traded funds borrow money to multiply investor returns, right? Which obviously inherently multiplies the risk.
Yeah, it got so dangerously top-heavy that the FSS, Korea's financial supervisory service, the main market watchdog, had to step in. They had to issue official warnings regarding investor protection.
Wow. When you have retail investors using debt to pile into just two stocks, you are building a very precarious tower. But while tech wealth is concentrating at the very top, everyday citizens are locked in a completely different battle over their domestic property wealth.
July 15th is the scheduled date for a marathon presidential debate focusing on two highly sensitive levies. We are looking at boysu, the holding tax on property, and yangdose, the capital gains tax.
Right, and what is fascinating to me is who they are including in this debate. They are bringing in administrators from Mom Cafe, the massive neighborhood community forums run by local residents. By bringing millions of residential voices to the table, it proves this tax overhaul is a deeply political project aimed at everyday voters, not just a technical adjustment by economists.
Exactly. And while we are just reporting on the scope of the debate here without endorsing any political viewpoint, it shows how fiercely citizens protect their real estate wealth. And when voters care this much about the taxes they pay, they heavily scrutinize how the government spends those tax dollars.
784 billion KRW, or 560 million USD, was wasted on government blockchain applications that ended up with near-zero users. That is a staggering amount of national capital thrown at a tech buzzword with nothing to show for it.
Contrast that digital failure with a highly tangible win overseas. Hanwha Aerospace just signed a massive defense deal for their K9 howitzers in the UAE. It highlights a sharp disconnect. While the government struggles to build useful digital infrastructure for its citizens, its traditional heavy industry sector is quietly securing billions in concrete, real-world defense contracts.
So taking all these shifting pieces in, let's get to the bottom line. What does this all mean for you?
10-year timeline compressions for Samsung and SK Hynix mean Korea is mobilizing land and capital on a war-footing schedule to reshape Asia's semiconductor geography. 56.9% of KOSPI's market cap, concentrated in these two names, fueled by massive leverage ETFs, leaves Korean equities highly exposed to any AI sentiment reversal. Broadening the July real estate tax debates to include community forum administrators proves this legislative overhaul will carry genuine policy weight.
And as you think about that massive semiconductor push, here's a final question to consider before we wrap up.
If a nation accelerates a 20-year mega cluster into a decade, what happens to global markets if AI demand suddenly cools before the concrete even dries?
That's today's AI Prism, Front Page Daily. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a One Eye for Eye award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow. #KOSPI.